Is NBA basketball just a game of pure chance? That might seem ridiculous, but hear me out on this one. First of all, look at the differences between average points scored and average points allowed per game. Notice here that there are 12 teams in the NBA. 12 of the 30 teams have a less than 1 point difference in points allowed per game and points scored per game. Less than 1 point. 12 of the 30 teams. That's 40% of the teams. NBA teams average about 100 possessions per game. Basically, every team in the NBA has played 60 or more games already this season. So pretty much every NBA team has had 6,000 possessions already this season, and their opponents have had about 6,000 possessions per season. And yet for 12 of the NBA teams, 40% of the NBA teams over 6,000 possessions, their average points scored versus points allowed has less than 1 point difference? That seems an awful lot like the kind of distribution you would see if, instead of trying to shoot hoops, teams just took turns flipping a coin. In fact, I put this to a test. I went online and looked at a coin flip simulator. I made a list of every NBA team, and for each team I flipped a coin 1,000 times. Each time it landed on heads, it counted as a point for the team. Then I flipped the coin 1,000 times again, and each time it landed on heads, that counted as a point for their opponents. And then I recorded the difference between points scored and points allowed per team. Now, it's not a perfect comparison, but let's say that over 1,000 points, let's say that a 10-point difference is about the equivalent of a 1 point difference in points per game versus points allowed per game. In my simulation, only 8 teams had a point differential of less than 10. In a simulation where the outcome was complete chance, it seems like there was more variation than you see in the actual NBA in point differential. And even when you move away from the middle and you look at the biggest differentials, here where it was just coin flips, you had a wide variation where the highest difference was 37 points positive and negative 60. That's a variation characteristic that looks an awful lot like what you see at the NBA. So is NBA basketball really just a game of chance?
Sound the alarm, I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup, you're a Barbie doll.